morning, students. As we have started with chapter number 3.6, Think Before You Speak. So, in this chapter, we have covered page number 75, and in this, we have covered about the British statesman Benjamin Disraeli. He said that we should speak when it is necessary. Means nature has endowed men with 2 ears and one mouth. Means men should listen more and speak less. So in this chapter we have come to know about listening more and speaking less gives and helps us to gain more knowledge rather than talking unnecessary things. Even here he had talked about Benjamin Disraeli has talked about, like, if we have 2 mouths and 1 ear, how we would have looked strange and funny. So God has gifted this quality of 2 ears and one mouth because unnecessary talks and unnecessary words we should not utter from our mouth. We should speak less and listen more, so that it will help us to understand our inner quality and as well as the world. We can observe world. So here, like, a young man went to a spiritual teacher and said, I have spoken very harsh and unkind words to my friend, and he is deeply hurt. I am afraid I have lost my friendship with him. How can I make amends? Now here, a young man who just went to a spiritual teacher and told everything had happened with him and with his friend. Here he has used and spoken harsh and unkind words. So here the spiritual teacher has told him that the wise teacher gave him a fresh sheet of blank paper and a pen. He said to the young man, write down on this paper all the harsh things you said to him. Now spiritual teacher told that person that whatever harsh thing you have said to this person, write down on this paper, blank sheet of paper. The young man did as he was told and showed the paper to the teacher. Now tear up this sheet of paper into as many small bits as you can, the wise teacher said. Soon the single sheet was torn into 100 tiny bits of paper. Now here the spiritual teacher told that person that the young man told that tear up the sheets of paper into as many as you can. First of all, she told him that whatever unkind and harsh words you have used, write down in that paper, in the sheet of paper, then tear that paper in small bits as you can. Okay, so soon the single sheet was torn into 100 tiny bits. 100 tiny bits. Soon the single sheet was torn. Throw the bits out of this window. The teacher told him. The teacher told him that throw the bits out of the window. So that was easily done. It was a windy day and the tiny bits were scattered far and wide even as the young man watched. See, we do in class also. We do that where we make paper boat and we throw out of the window, and it's like it gets scattered as it gets scattered far and wide. So we do like that. Even you students must have done like that, but that should not be done. You're wasting the papers. Okay, here are some different things. Like, now the man has torn up the tiny bits of paper into 100, and now That was easily done. It was a windy day and the tiny bits were scattered far and wide even as the young man watched. Nuts. It gets scattered, it gets spread far and wide as the young man watched. Now go out into the street and collect as many bits of the paper as you can. The teacher told, go out into the street and collect as many bits of the papers as you can. The teacher ordered him. Now go out and collect the papers as you have thrown out from the window. Collect the tiny bits of papers as you can. Okay, many bits of the paper as you can. The teacher had ordered him. The young man was taken aback. But that it will be difficult, he stammered. He stammered. But it will be difficult. How will I collect that paper back? Correctly, obviously. He has stored that paper into tiny bits and he don't know where that paper has gone. If this paper has spread. It gets scattered away now because the day was windy. So it will be difficult indeed, but do give it a try, the teacher suggested. Teachers told, okay, I know it will be difficult. Without any question, it will be difficult. But why can't you give it a try? She suggested. The young man went out. He returned half an hour later. The young man went out and he returned half an hour later exhausted because he went out in search of the paper where he had thrown out from the window. But half an hour later he had come back and he got exhausted. He had not been able to get hold of a single torn bit from the paper he had torn up just a while earlier. He got exhausted. He had come back half an hour later, but he was unable to find the papers where he had torn bit, and he has thrown out from the window. That is what happens with the spoken words. Now here she has given one example. The teacher has given an example. She has just experimented with that person that writes the words which you have written, which you have spoken to your friend. Then the man has wrote the words, and he's been asked to tear the paper into tiny small bits of paper, and he had done that. But when the teacher ordered him that go back and collect the tiny bits of paper, he was unable to do that because it was impossible. Yes, so here she has given an example, experimented. Now here she is going to give an example is that the young man went out, he returned half an hour later. Okay, so he was exhausted, even he could not able to find a single bit of the paper. So here now the teacher is telling him that this is what happens with the spoken word. The teacher said to him, once you have spoken the words aloud, it is very difficult to take them back. Therefore, learn to think before you speak in anger. Obviously, what happens, when we are very angry, we become very harsh, and we become very harsh while speaking. When we get angry, we become very harsh while speaking. So whatever comes into our mouth, what we do, we speak loudly. We don't even think that what the person whom you are speaking these words, what that person will feel. We are hurting the sentiments of the person, obviously. So once the words you have spoken, we could not take it back. Once you have spoken the words aloud, it is very difficult to take them back. Therefore, learn to think before you speak in angry. Whenever you are angry, learn to think and then speak. It happens when we are angry, we speak very straightforwardly. We speak whatever comes in our mouth, and then after we finishes with the anger, it's an emotion too. We finishes with our words, then later on we come to know that whatever we have spoken with the person that was very rude and was very unkind, harsh, and then we start and then we think. Now we should at least ask that person to forgive us. But what will happen once the person will forgive you? But what about the words you have spoken to that person? It will not gonna come back again. The person may be sent in that sentiment, in that emotion, he will remember forever whatever words you have spoken. So when you are angry, when you are angry, we should not speak the words. When we are angry, we should not speak harsh and unkind words. Try to maintain silence, peace, and patience, and try to sort of the problems. So now turn your page number 76. You can see one image. So the name of the person is Socrates. So who was Socrates? He was an ancient Greek philosopher who was born on 499 BC, in 499 BC, and died in 399 BC. And he was basically most widely known for ancient Greek philosopher. He is image the person Socrates. So he has known for the wisest person. He has much more knowledge. So let's come to the Socrates. Now here we have studied about two people. One of is about British statesman Benjamin Disraeli. Then we have studied about one spiritual teacher whose name has not been mentioned. Now third we are going to study about Socrates. Okay. Socrates was one of the wisest men of the ancient world. Many were the youths whose lives he influenced for the better. So many were the youth whose lives he was influenced for the better. Then Socrates counseled his disciples to keep their mouth shut. He used to give counseling. As we have known that he's a great Greek ancient philosopher, so he used to counsel his disciple to keep their mouth shut. Disciples, the one who used to follow Socrates, who used to follow his teaching. "O wise one, how may we know when it is right to speak?" they asked him. So his disciple asked him, "O wise one, how may we know what is the right to speak? When it is the right to speak?" So when it is the right to speak, how we'll know that? The disciples asked him, "What will the right time for the speaking?" They asked whom? Socrates. So here Socrates answered, Open your mouth to keep only after you have asked yourself 3 questions. When somebody asks you 3 questions, then only open your mouth. Other than, do not utter a single word, do not speak in between." So what are the 3 questions Socrates answered? Open your mouth to speak only after you have asked yourself 3 questions. Asked yourself 3 questions and received an affirmative answer to each of the 3. He replied, Socrates, ask yourself 3 questions and then answer yourself 3 questions. Like, what were the 3 questions? Now let's know about the 3 questions. The first question we must ask ourselves before we speak is it true? Before we speak, we should ask ourselves, whatever we are speaking, is it true? If you are not sure about the veracity of what we are saying, what is veracity? Okay, so if you are not sure about the veracity of what we are saying, means the fact. Veracity means the fact. Veracity means the fact. If you are not sure about the veracity of what we are speaking, the fact, the truth, it is better that we do not utter a word. Means if we don't know what we are speaking, so we should not utter a word. Keep our mouth shut. Only speak if you know the truth. When we utter words carelessly, we ourselves become transmitter of untruth. If we speak carelessly, so what happens? We become the transmitter of untruth. then we are transmitting, means we are giving knowledge, false knowledge to the person instead of knowing is it true or false. So we are spreading knowledge, false knowledge, wrong knowledge. So he's saying in the first question that speak if you know the fact, speak if you know the truth. The second question to ask is it pleasant? Many are the empty remarks and vain statements that people make in idleness to hurt others. It is better that these unpleasant words remain unspoken. In idleness, when we give speech also, we make such remarks, such hurtful remarks that people may get hurt. Okay, so he said that it is better only to remain unspoken rather than making empty remarks or false statements. And whenever we speak in idleness, in laziness, then what we do, we hurt others. Better not to speak. Keep words unspoken if you are not sure about our words. The third question, according to Socrates, is it useful? Yes. Whatever we are speaking, is it useful? Is it going to give some knowledge to the person with whom you are speaking, with whom you are spreading your knowledge? First, we have to think on that. Is our statement going to benefit the listener? So whatever we are speaking, see, we are speakers who gives good speech. We watch on YouTube also. So think twice that whatever we are speaking, is our statement going to benefit the listeners? Whatever we are giving statement or whatever we are going to speaking, is it going to benefit to the listener with whom you are going to speak, for whom you are going to speak on the stage or in the classroom, right? Will our words bring comfort to someone? Are we likely to help someone with what we say? Only in that case should we go ahead and speak. So if we know that whatever is true, if we know the statement is correct, and if we know that our words are going to give someone comfort, benefit to the listener, then only do one thing, speak. Otherwise do not speak any wrong statement. What happens? We speak angry, very harsh and unkind words. So even the listener is not going to listen to what you are speaking. So whatever words, collect words in a proper way. Collect your words in a proper way. Make out your words in a proper way so that the person who is going to listen will listen it in a very pleasant way. The words will going to benefit to that person. So what we have studied in this chapter is that there are the three person: Benjamin Disraeli, British statesman Benjamin Disraeli, then about the teacher, spiritual teacher, and about the Socrates. So these are all is going in this chapter. They have taught us about whenever it is necessary only then to only speak rather than uttering unnecessary words which is going to hurt person's sentiments. And whenever you find it is right time to speak, then only we should speak. So I hope you have understood this chapter. So this chapter teaches us not to speak, means speak less and listen more, so that we can gain knowledge. So I hope you understood this chapter. Please do read the chapter. Thank you.